Shalom, Yasharallah. This is your brother Dawadah from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahawah, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for Yahakim pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So we're going to just jump right back into this here lesson, which is a continuation basically about who is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right. So now we're going to just jump into the book of Job, chapter 30. All right. And we're going to get some more of these characteristics from what the Bible calls a character that the Bible calls Esau or Edom or Idumea, which is a Greek way of saying Edom. All right. And also Mount Seir. All right. These are all code name for the same people. All right. So this is a character that's written about in the scriptures. All right. And we're going to take the characteristics from this here person and look around the planet Earth and see who that fits. All right. And I'm already telling you, it's the so-called white man. So-called white man is who the Bible calls Esau Edom. All right. Now, within all of this, hey, look, take the things that's written in these here scriptures and try to pinpoint this to somebody else on the planet Earth, whether it be the Chinese man, the Arab man, the Africans, and so on and so forth. All right. And now the Most High, for the most part, deals with whole nations of people. It's not just select individuals, because some people are like, well, there's wicked amongst all people. It's just a select few individuals that's doing so on and so forth. No, it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's the whole seed line. All right. It's come on, man. You got to look at a bigger picture than that. Really, in reality, if you think like that, you pretty much just is 2/3, and you should probably just go cleave unto the white man, because that's going to be your end anyway. You know, you're going to want to dine with him anyway. You wasting your time here, you know, and we too far in the end for all of that shit anyway. But nevertheless, going back into this here lesson for those who, you know, have a desire to learn and, you know, a sincere heart, you know, this is why we're going into this here lesson. So we're going to start here, the book of Job, chapter 30. Job 30, I'm gonna start verse 3. It says, for want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness and former times, desolate and waste. All right. Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief. You know, so it's like you're trying to chase the thief away, like, shoot, get on, be gone. You know what I'm saying? Get up out of here, whatever, whatnot. The so-called Edomite, well, they are the Edomites. The so-called white man, all right, was chased up into the damn mountains, all right? Now, we're going back to the history, you know, you learn here in America that we come from caveman. We come from the cavemen. You know, we were cavemen at one point in time, whatever, whatnot, you know? Now, what our people has to understand is we in a kingdom, an Edomite kingdom, all right? We in the white man's kingdom. So when he speak, he don't have to speak, you know what I'm saying, and let you know exactly who the hell he talking to, first of all right? But nevertheless, it's, you know, now it's our job, now that we waking up and learning that we Israelites, we supposed to come up out of my people, like the Lord say, you know. But nevertheless, sometimes when a white man speak, he's not going to say, I'll give you an example. When I moved down here to Florida, right, I didn't know nothing about going to the beach and no shit like that, right? But everybody was saying, look, when you go to the beach, make sure you got your sunscreen on, make sure you got your sunblock on. So I'm going out to the beach, got my sunblock on or whatever, whatnot, sweating my ass off, looking like a retard. You see them saying, I'm like, man, what the hell are you doing? Only so-called black person out there looking like a damn fool. Why? Because I didn't know that the commercials, they didn't say, hey, you so-called white people, you need to take this shit. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, y'all don't need this shit. Because y'all got melanin in your skin. You all right. You know what I'm saying? The sun ain't trying to kill you. All right. It's only trying to kill the so-called white man. All right. But nevertheless, they didn't say that on the TV. They just say, hey, when you go to the beach, get your make sure you got your sunblock. But nevertheless, when the so-called white man speak, you know what I'm saying? Most of the time he's speaking for his own self. So he says, well, yeah, we come from cavemen. Yeah, you do come from cavemen. You were a caveman at one point in time. Well, actually, like twice, 2 or 3 times in history, you was living in the caves. All right. You dwelt in Mount Seir. You dwelt in what is that? Mount Petra. Matter of fact, pause the video right now and go on Google search and type in Petra, Mount Petra. Let me give you a... Petra. Just like that. That's how it's spelled. Mount Petra. Type that in the YouTube or Google search. Google search Mount Petra and look at the images on Mount Petra. All right. This here is just pretty much how you say solve the whole damn thing. You know, you could just look this here part up alone. You'd be like, oh, yeah. This is the so-called white man. When you look at the damn building and how this was carved out of the mountain, it looked just like how they do it today. The damn the White House, all your buildings in Congress and all that different shit. It's all the same thing, man. And you used to like living in the caves back then. You still like living in the caves now. Who live high up in the rocks in the caves? Look at your high-rise buildings, your concrete buildings. New York is nothing but what they call a concrete jungle. Nothing but a bunch of high-rises and skyscraper buildings reminding you of these damn high mountain ranges and shit like that. All that concrete around everywhere. That's why wherever the so-called white man goes, it's got to be a concrete jungle, a concrete heaven for his ass, because that's what he used to, is the mountains. All right. It says, verse 6 or verse 5 again. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the clefts of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. So that's where they wound up living at. Like I said, Mount Seir, which was where they was. That was their possession. From Mount Seir, you got Mount Petra. Then you also had the Caucasus Mountains. All right, this is where you get the term Caucasian from. All right, let's just deal with the ending part of that. Like you would say, America, Americans, Asia, Asians. You know, when you put that part on it, it's just denouncing the people from that land thereof. You know, Mexico is the land. Mexicans are the people that live in that land. You see what I'm saying? Like in layman's terms, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, where you get Caucasians from, Caucasus Mountains. The Caucasus Mountains are on the foothills of Georgia, Russia. All right, over there in basically Russia. You know, go look on the map. You'll see the Caucasus Mountains. All right, right there in Georgia, Russia. All right, this is where these people was living at, pretty much in the caves for the last points of times. All right, now I believe this was around the time of what, 740 AD, where they was the Khazars. All right, where they converted into the Khazaria. Look that shit up too, Khazaria. The kingdom of Khazaria, the Khazars, the Khazars. All right. And you'll see this is where they got the conversion into so-called Judaism in its modern day time around 740 AD. All right. And then they was living over there in the kingdom of Khazaria. All right. Then from there, they again, like we read in the scriptures, they was chased up into the damn mountains for the same shit because they kept causing a whole bunch of wickedness on the planet Earth. So they moved up into the Caucasus Mountains. All right. And then they moved their ass up out the Caucasus Mountains. All right. Now, despite what people will tell you, we got different skin color because of where we live on the planet Earth. All right. People who live in colder climates got white skin, and people who live in hotter climates got dark skin. Well, that's a bull-faced lie, because let me just say shit, in Israel, them people been living over there since what, 1948. Why they still look the same color as they did when they got over there? All right. Why is it that you got, let me see another place where you would have some shit like this? Florida. Matter of fact, Florida and Texas. You know what I'm saying? These are basically the two southernmost states closest to the equator in the United States. How come you don't have a bunch, like, just basically black people living down there and no white people at all? Okay? How come, you know what I'm saying? This is just retarded. You got black people living in Russia. You see what I'm saying? And they ain't changing colors. You see what I'm saying? You got white people in South Africa. Well, South Africa is close to the South Pole, but nevertheless, you got white people living all over these different places. Granted, they wind up, you know, burning up and getting, the skin start peeling from being out there and stuff like that. But nevertheless, their skin color ain't changing, man. If that was the case, you would have people like over the hundreds of years, people been living here in America. Like you take one of the cold states or whatever, whatnot, they would all be one color. We would all just start changing color and shit like that. But that shit don't happen. All right. But nevertheless, it says, let me read from verse 5 again. It says, they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as a thief. Now, another thing going in this, like I was saying, they was driven up into these caves, especially the lastly in the Caucasus Mountains. When you go and you do the history of, type this in the Google search. Type in the list of countries the Jews were expelled from. Now, the Jews in this scenario, which I'm talking about, are these same, they're Edomites under the tribe of Amalek. They're Amalekites, these fake Jews. They're Jewish people. They're fake Jews. They're converts. All right. Now, if you type in a Google search and you look up the list of countries that the Jews were expelled from, and you look at all the reasons they were expelled from these countries, they was expelled from over 100 different countries for pretty much the same shit. All right. Now, if you're trying to figure out what all that shit is all about, look at America, why you mad at all these elites here, and why you voted for Donald Trump to drain the swamp. All right. That so-called swamp represent the same as those so-called Jewish bankers and elitists that's basically robbing all the people, which would make the people upset, which would make the people want to overthrow the people that's in charge, the so-called elite bankers. So when you people talking about, well, it ain't the so-called white man, it's the few elite, so on and so forth. Well, it's the same people, the same goddamn people. But nevertheless, hey man, it's these Edomites, you know, and sometimes it's from the tribe of Amalek, which is the so-called Jewish people. But like I said, nevertheless, up there in 740 AD, all right, y'all was well, not y'all, the Edomites, all right, they was living over in that land, but they was a war fighting civilization and everything like that. They would, hey, people will go to them, hire them to be their military. All right. But nevertheless, go look into some history on the Khazars, the Khazarians, the Khazarian kingdom, and go look that up on the map. You'll see that mountain line that's right there at the foothill of the Khazarian kingdom. Is called the Caucasus Mountains, where these so-called Caucasians come from. All right. And the fact that when you fill out an application and you mark that box Caucasian, you are acknowledging that you a caveman, a cave dweller, because that's what the fuck you named after, the Caucasus Mountains. That's where that name Caucasian come from. All right. You was named after a fucking mountain range that you used to dwell in. All right. Nobody else was living in there but your ass. That's what the hell you was doing. Bruh, we not no savages living in no little mud huts and shit like that. We had temples and buildings going way back when. All right. It says, I mean, shit, we were slaves in Egypt and built the pyramids, which was, you could look at it as a building, like you could actually go inside the shit. And then what? The same buildings was built over here in the Yucatan Peninsula and all over here in America and stuff like that. You got multiple pyramids all over the place built by the same people. All right. With the same design, the same scale and everything. Everything's the same about it. Same position and everything. Because of why they got the same traits. Just like my handwriting, whether if I write on a piece of paper, if I write on your piece of paper here in America, and then I go and write on a piece of paper in, let's say, Russia, right? Or a cardboard box in Russia. My handwriting is going to be the same. It's just going to be on a different, like a piece of paper or in a different location. But my handwriting is going to be the same. I still got the same characteristics in my handwriting. The same with the pyramids. Like, no matter where they built them at, it's the same so-called footprint or handwriting to let you know what it is. Just like I said, when you go to look at Mount Petra and you look at all these modern day, like the Greek buildings, the Roman buildings, and these modern day American buildings that they all constructed, they all the same shit. All right, letting you know who these people are. So going back, it says they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as a thief, to dwell in the clefts of the valley of the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, and under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fool. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. All right. So now when you go into what's that book? Nature Has No Color Lines, I believe it is. One of those books, they tell you in there like that, where basically, you know, we had taken the so-called white man into captivity and stuff like that. Shit. I wonder why they can't find no information on the Dark Ages. The so-called white man, this goddamn bastard tell you that he know what shit happened from hundreds of millions of years ago, when we weren't even around in no time like that. Oh, 100 millions of years, billions and hundreds of trillions of cajillion years from the Big Bang. Oh, we know exactly what was going on the moment, the time, and the day, but you can't figure out what was happening in the Dark Ages. All right, from what? Basically around what, like 95 AD? Or about 125 AD to about what, 13 the late 1300s. You didn't know what the fuck happened in none of that history period of time. That wasn't that far back, but yet you know what happened in Egyptian times, which was way before that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then you claim to know what happened in the Big Bang, which you claim it was like hundreds of millions of years ago. Oh, and the dinosaurs. Yeah, the dinosaurs lived here about maybe 300 million years ago. And you knew about what was going on, what they was eating, what they wore on Tuesday and everything, but you can't figure out what happened in the Dark Ages. All right. Well, there are books that let you know what was going on in those ages. That was when we was in control of Europe and stuff like that. All right. Like, follow the timeline up to King James. Not King James Lackland. King James Lackland is the story where you hear about the homosexual, the pedophile, so on and so forth. King James, his name was King James, was it Stewart? Or the Stewart family. I gotta go back into my own research papers and pull this out. I'm gonna do a lesson on that too, Lord willing, real soon. But I'll bring out all that history too. King James, the dude who translated the Bible, was a so-called black man, a so-called Negro. All right, this is where we was living at beforehand over there in Europe and stuff like that. And in the Dark Ages, we was ruling over there. All right, that's why he had the so-called Byzantine and the Ottoman Empire. All right, you had two different Romes. All right, you had two different Roman empires. You had two different people ruling over in those time frames. All right, we was actually ruling over there. We was ruling in Europe and all these different things. The United Kingdom. King James was the one who united the United Kingdoms. He was the first king over all those different places like that. All right, the what they call it, the fuck is the damn European flag called? Something Jack. Whatever. But you see like the British flag, right? Notice a lot of those damn flags got crosses in them, right? You see what I'm saying? But this was all the kingdoms of King James. But nevertheless, he was one of being killed. I think it was him, his wife, and then his son. His son might have been the last one. I had to go back and pull out that history, but I believe it was damn, what was it? Charles, I want to say Charles Edwards or something like that. I had to go back and pull out that history, but nevertheless, in fact, Lord willing, I'll do a video on that soon. But nevertheless, getting back into Esau, it says they were children of fools. Yes, children of base men. They were reviled in the earth. So going back to the things that they were doing, we took them into captivity, man. Like I said, back in those days, we took them into captivity. Let me go back up. It says, verse 6, to dwell in the clefts of the valley of the caves of the earth and in the rocks. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. So, just like the caveman that they be showing you on TV, homeboy, that was him. Grunting and shit. And that was his own language, you know? Like homeboy would say, learn how to speak the language and shit. Like, motherfucker, we taught you how to speak a goddamn coherent language. All right, and then when we found your ass, you was dirty, wearing the same fucking clothes every damn day, never taking baths and shit. You wore your clothes so much, the so-called white man wore his clothes so much that he would take off his clothes and his armor, and he would have maggots and lice and shit all over him, all over his body, like he does today. All right, and you go to school, got to check for lice and stuff like that. How come we don't get lice? How come this is only you Edomites who get that shit, man? All right, but nevertheless, you was also drinking out of your grandmother's skulls and shit like that, eating the roots and just all kind of vile abominations and stuff. You was just a vile abomination, a walking abomination at that point in time, you know. But what we wound up, hey, we're compassionate people. We took your ass in captivity, and you was in a way better state in captivity than you was when you wasn't in captivity. You see what I'm saying? But what, you take us into captivity, and you take away all of our knowledge and everything from you, strip everything from us. When we took you in captivity, we built you up. But oh and behold, this next captivity for your ass, bruh. Hey, you don't even want to know what that's going to be like. It's going to be a nightmare for your ass. All right. Verse 8. They were children of fools. Yes, children of base men. They were reviled in the earth. Like I said, they were children of fools. All right. And they were children of base men. They the lowest of the low of the planet Earth, man. This is the so-called white man. They come up with this, the dumbest shit in the world. Like, yo, all right, you got meat and you got fire to cook the meat with, but you only want to throw that bitch on there for a hot second. Like, but it's not even cooked. You see what I'm saying? You the basis of me. Like, you do some of the dumbest shit in the whole world. Let's cut down all the trees, the things that we need for oxygen and everything like that, or pollute the water and stuff like that, and then complain about everything all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And this is the so-called white man. This is what he does. Like, yeah, I can sit here all day and show you how dumb he is. Just some of the simple shit that he do. But hey, y'all been around him too, so y'all know. Verse 9. And now I am their song. Yeah, I am their byword. Like the Gucci, like with Gucci. Yeah, they putting on blackface. All these different things where they over here basically clowning and talking shit about us, right? But what? These are the curses. Slacky. These are the curses that we would be under. You know, it was gonna be a byword and a proverb. But yet these people are calling us niggas and shit like that. But like, or the low level people, and y'all just, oh, y'all ain't shit. I'm like, well, wait a minute, we ain't shit. Everything we got, everything that you got is because of us. What you mean? Without us, it would be no you. You see what I'm saying? Without you, we wouldn't be in captivity. You see what I'm saying? So let's not get the picture twisted here. You see what I'm saying? Verse 10, they abhor me. They flee from me. They spare not to spit in my face. And that's exactly what they do. They'll sit here and spit in our face. Not just physically spit in our face, but just, how do you say, metaphorically spitting in our face, man. I did an article a while back where the police wound up killing this dude unrightfully. Police killed a Jake, you know, and it was a wrongful death. The family wound up going to court, winning the case about the wrongful death. The police wound up losing. They had to pay up. And they said that homeboy's life was only worth, like, I believe, like 4 cents, 4 pennies, or $4 or something like that. You'd have to go back on my channel and look back far back enough. I did a video on that, but it was like, yo, man, hey, they gonna be like, yeah, we fucked up and we killed your husband or whatever, whatnot. We weren't supposed to do that. You know, yeah, we fucked up. First of all, that's the first spit in the face. All right, but second of all, yeah, you won in court. We're gonna pay you off for it, but we ain't gonna give you enough money to put gas in your car to come down here to see the court proceeding. So in fact, you didn't spend more money going back and forth to court on one trip than what you was gonna get back alone from the whole shit. They just spitting in our face. Yeah, we know we shot you, but so what? Or yeah, Black Lives Matter, but all lives matter. But wait a minute, y'all the ones over here killing us. Y'all just sitting here shitting in our face all goddamn day. All right. Let me grab another precept real quick. This is Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 16. It says, thy terribleness have deceived thee. Let me go back up. Well, I'm going to start at verse 15. It says, for lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. All right. Not necessarily being small in number, but just like in today's times, right now where we're living at right here, right now, today, the so-called white man is becoming small amongst men because of why? Here at home, everybody's calling out and cussing out the so-called white man for all his wicked atrocities he been doing. All right. Not just here. The other nations is doing the same thing too. You know, you got like the scriptures say, the weak say not, let the weak say I am strong, you know, or they talking about, is this the man, which we'll actually get into that, but is this the man who did weakest the nations and all this and that beforehand? You know, after America dropped that, what was it? The hydrogen bomb on Japan. Everybody was standing back like, oh shit, don't fuck with him. He got that thing over there. We don't want to fuck with him. But now everybody's just like, you know what, man? Fuck that nigga, man. And we tired of this shit, man. What you gonna do? You gonna beat us all up? You gonna arrest us all? You know what I'm saying? That's the mode that everybody's in now, you know? They being despised among men, all right? Being small amongst the heathen. But before, they was all big, you know? They was like, well, we got this bomb. We don't give a fuck what y'all say. We'll blow y'all off the face of the earth. And now everybody else like, look, we might not got the bomb that y'all got, but motherfucker, hey, what's up? We got Russian them. You know what I'm saying? And that's the spirit that the Most High is putting on these different people and a position that he's putting the so-called white man sitting here in America at, all right? It says, thy terribleness have deceived thee and the pride of thy heart, all right? So that terribleness and the pride had deceived them because of what? What that like I was saying, the hydrogen bomb or the nuclear bomb they dropped on Japan. After dropping that, they was like, yeah, we got everybody in subjection now. We're gonna keep pushing forward. Ain't nobody gonna challenge us, so on and so forth. But wait, they had a stopping point now. You know what I'm saying? They getting some challenges now, you know, and then also their pride, you know, whatever the little army in the Air Force, the few proud Marines, whatever, all their little sayings and stuff like that. America gonna go on forever. Long live America. So all this shit, man. They talking about, they just got the pride in their heart. Who gonna bring me down? Oh, I am God. Like who gonna say something to the white man? You know, we got thermonuclear missiles. America's the greatest country on the planet Earth. Their pride is deceiving them, thinking that they all that in a bag of chips, you know. But in reality, they don't realize they've been set up for a short amount of time, and the Most High is about to take them out of their position. All right. It says thy terribleness has deceived thee. Yeah, because you go around bombing every damn body, and the pride of thy heart, you know, because just the bullshit that they saying, oh, I'm God. There is no God. Ain't who gonna stop me? All right. It says, oh, thou dwellest in the clefts of the rock. All right. Again, going back to them that living in the clefts of the rock or in these caves, so-called white man. All right. Again, putting all these together. Who else is a caveman? All right. And is so-called terrible towards all these other nations, where all these other nations will be fearing them. It's goddamn not the Arabs. Ain't nobody scared of fucking Arabs and shit like that. Ain't nobody's like, oh shit, man, we worried about the Arabs invading our country. You know what I'm saying? China ain't like, you know what? We need to set up the Spratly Islands out there in the South China Sea because we're afraid that the Arabs is finna come and invade China. The Russians ain't worried about getting nuked by these fucking Arabs and shit like that. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nobody worried about the Arabs and shit like that. Only you simple ass minded people here in America is brainwashed to think some Arabs is finna harm you and shit. But nevertheless, it says, thy terribleness have deceived thee, thy pride of thy heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill. So the height of the hill, what? You like at the top of the mountain, the pinnacle of the summit, right? You looking down on everybody else. How they say you in a top floor penthouse suite. Everybody else is beneath you. All right. Though thou should make thy nest as high as the eagle, all right, I will bring thee down from thence, saith Yahweh. So going into, let me see if it'll go into here. I didn't want to make this part here too long either, but hey, for edification's sake, man. I guess it'll say it in the other definition, but it also says it here. It says figuratively a chamber or dwelling, a nest room. All right, not talking about actually like a bird's nest, but it's more or less like a chamber or a armory or a storage room. All right. It says, though thou shalt make thy nest as high as the eagle, or thy dwelling place as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from this, saith Yahweh. And what do they got up there in space? All right. They got the International Space Station. They got their weaponry, their satellites and all that up there in space and everything like that, man. Continuing on. Also, Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished and hiss at all the plagues thereof. Matter of fact, let me even go up to the top, because this is talking about Jeremiah 49 and verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in teeming, and his counsel perished from the prudent, is their wisdom vanished. So it's talking about who? Esau Edom. All right. All this is talking about Esau Edom. All right. Let me just continue on with the lesson. This is Job chapter 21, verse 8. You know, giving some of the characteristics of the so-called white man. All right. Their seed is established in their sight with them, their offspring before their eyes. Now, when you go to Deuteronomy 28 and I can't think of the exact verse where it says that the longing for our kids, they're going to be going into captivity. We're not going to have no might in our hand to have our kids. You know, when you go through Deuteronomy 28, it tells you about the curses that will befall Jacob, the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Like, we would be taken into captivity. Everything was going to be taken from us and so on and so forth, you know. We was going to basically have a bad life. We was going to be living hell on earth, i.e. look around. That's the condition that you in now. All right. But this is talking about the so-called white man, which is going to be the polar opposite of where we at. So it says their seed is established in their sight with them and their offspring before their eyes. So what? We have kids, and then what? A lot of the times our kids, we don't get to raise our kids all the way up because why? Either you got child protective services that'll take them. You can they can wind up getting killed off in the streets. You know how Jake say, shit, I only want to see age 25 or whatever, whatnot. They can get locked up in jail or whatever, whatnot. But they not being established in the sight of their parents and being lifted on up. But the so-called white man and his kids, they bring their kids up from the time that they born all the way up to the time, you know, to the time it's time for them to give them their little inheritance. And they raise up their kids and they wind up passing things on down to them. You see what I'm saying? Like, when we coming up, we just trying to keep food in our belly and a roof over our head, you know. It's a miracle if we wind up making it, like I said, past 25, you know, because our life expectancy rate, you know what I'm saying, for especially in the inner city for Jake males is not very high. All right. But this is talking about the so-called white man. It says their seed is established in their sight with them and their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear. Neither is the rod of the Most High upon them. So what? Let's talk about the rod of the Most High being upon them. These people, first of all, the Most High gave us law, statutes, and commandments. And he said that I only know you above all the families of the earth, and I'm going to punish you for your wickedness, right? So we break the law, statutes, and commandments. He wound up punishing us right away. All right. These other nations, he's not really worried about them as if you got a child and your child outside playing with somebody else. They throwing rocks in the neighbor house and bust somebody's window out. You gonna go down there and get your child. You gonna probably go get both kids, and you gonna discipline your child and take the other child to their house and let their parents deal with them. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, these wicked people, they're gonna get their judgment. But the Most High is letting it stockpile for a certain amount of time, because this is all ordained for them to how do I say, they have a bound that they can't appoint. They have like a certain space that they able to move in, you know. They have a time limit, you know what I'm saying? But it says their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of the Most High upon them. Now their house is being safe from fear because of why? They're not worried about, on a carnal level, a low level, people running up in their house, breaking into their houses and things like that. But then also they're not worried about, how they say Black Lives Matter. Oh, a so-called black man got to be worried about walking out the house. Anytime he walk out the house, it might be the last time coming back in. So-called white men don't have to fear about that. You go in these Edomite neighborhoods, they don't even lock their damn house doors. They leave the garage door open all night long. You know what I'm saying? Leaving nice cars out in the driveway or wherever they at, top down, keys in the ignition or keys in the sun visor or whatever, whatnot. These Edomites live like that, They're not really, how do you say, in trouble or worry about, you know, they dwelling places, they house, they family, or anything like that. But wait, you go to Jake neighborhood, they got the damn burglar bars on the window. They got the damn locked in deadbolt screen door. You see them saying they got the alarm system. They got so on and so forth, cameras around the house. They got everything set up, you know what I'm saying? Because they worried about somebody coming up in their house. All right, not just that. When they go out into the cities or whatever, whatnot, you know, they house being like they family and they children or whatever, whatnot. They're not safe in the streets. You know how they saying like let's say for instance Trayvon Martin, right? Now his parents' house wasn't safe. Why? Because they son couldn't, not to say his physical house, like, you know, they walk inside the front door of the house, but nevertheless, the house of their family, you know, the whole, like you say, the whole house of Israel. It's not talking about a dwelling place that we live in, but the whole, all of the people, right? But nevertheless, Trayvon's house or Israel's house wasn't safe because Trayvon couldn't even walk to the store, get some Skittles or whatever, whatnot, without being looked at as a so-called, how do you say, a criminal or whatever, whatnot. He was killed in his own sight, you know? Plenty of cases when they had all these Jake killings going on, but what, our house ain't safe because at any point in time we could wind up being killed by the so-called police, and all they gotta say is, well, we thought he had a gun on him, and they wind up checking his pockets or whatever, whatnot, but yo, he had a bag of Skittles on him. That's all he had was a bag of Skittles. You see what I'm saying? Well, I thought it was a gun, so I feared my life. But the so-called white man, all right, he walking down the street, you know what I'm saying, killing up everybody, shooting at the police or whatever, whatnot. The police yelling at him, put down the gun. We don't want to shoot you. We don't want to hurt you. Put down the gun. You know, they over here negotiate with him. Hey, man. Their house is still safe, all right? They're not really in fear about nothing, all right? They're not worried about nobody coming down on their ass like that, all right? It says, their bull gendereth and faileth not. Their cow calves and the calf and casteth not her calf, all right? Going back into the curses that we was under, all right? Basically, none of our fruits was going to prosper. You know, if we got animals or whatever, whatnot, they wasn't going to be very prosperous. Or look at it as like how it was in those days, business opportunities and things like that. You know, when you had cows and land and shit, that's basically like you owning a business. You know, you bringing in some money now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got cows and this and that. So bring it into to today's terms, all right? So-called white man get a little business. He ain't have to have no money put down. He just go get a free-ass business loan. They just put him in business, whatever, whatnot, even though he stole somebody's shit. You know what I'm saying? He in business, his business is going to start thriving. But you go and you start from the ground up. You got a legitimate business from your own doings and your own workings or whatever, whatnot. But what? You wind up, you know what I'm saying? He wound up putting you out of business all the time. Your business always wind up failing around some of the loopholes and things that he got going on. All right? Like, you had that one lady who was called, the one Edomite lady called the police on the little black girl, so-called black girl, for selling lemonade, right? Tell me something, she was screaming so loud. I'm like, wait a minute, does she have a permit to be selling a lemonade? Like, this is a little bitty girl selling some lemonade that she done made to save up some money for her own self. Now, first of all, this is a little Jake girl. She could have robbed and stole it from your ass, or she could have went to your governmental assistance programs, but then you would have been complaining about how so-called black people are always looking for a handout. But this little girl decided to be an entrepreneur and take her resources that she had and that she could afford and make a business out of it. But what? Some grown-ass lady had to come over there and shut down this little girl. A little girl who's not even old enough to have a legitimate job anyway. The little girl was like 8 years old. Shut her business down so she couldn't make no money. Called the police on her as if she was a threat. But look at how many so-called white people is walking around having businesses without proper so-called permits and things like that. Why do you, first of all, why do you think there's a commercial on TV talking about some, if you or anybody you know got asbestos or mesothelioma or whatever the fuck the shit's called? Because why? The so-called white man wasn't adhering to certain practices and certain guidelines when doing certain types of jobs. He was cutting corners and he didn't do things the right way. Now lots of people are sick and dying from it. But hey, everything's all right because the so-called white man did it. All right. But for us, you know, his business kept thriving. He made hundreds, if not billions off of that. But this little girl can't even probably, I don't know how much money she was trying to make, but let's just say how much money can she really make selling lemonade, you know? I mean, she's probably saving up to go on some like school trip or something. Hey, I might have needed $100 or whatever, whatnot. The parents probably could have gave her the $100, but they trying to probably show their child worth ethics, so they don't just be gimme. All right, you want something, you need to go out there and go work for it. You know, here, I'll show you how to make a little lemonade stand and whoop-de-whoop, go sell you some lemonade. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that's just the difference between us. It says, verse 10, their bull gendereth and faileth not. So they bulls is mating and they keep reproducing. Their cows calves and casteth not her calves. So hey, they business is multiplying. They send forth their little ones like a flock, and their children dance. All right. So they having their kids in abundance. And they just happy and joy. Let me just keep reading. They take the timbrel and the harp and rejoice at the sound of the organ. They spend their days in wealth and in a moment go down to the grave. So what? They little ones from little kids growing on up. They just basically, it's like a, not to say a party, but I'm gonna use the analogy. It's like just a party. That's all they doing is, you know, living life and enjoying life. Because for one, this is their kingdom. This is the kingdom of their heaven. They're in their heaven right now. This is what their job is supposed to be. These little kids, they grow up and they having, you know, these little Edomite kids grow up having horses and ponies and shit, flying all over the place and going skiing and going this and going there. We used to go to the Hamptons and used to go, they do all these different things. They just growing up and enjoying life and traveling, going to different countries and shit like that. Whereas most Jake don't even necessarily ever come up out of their own neighborhood. They never leave the one little town or the city that they living in ever in their whole life. All right, we just stuck in one little small spot trying to make it from day to day. Just like the curses say that will be over us. We ain't gonna have no assurance for life wherever we was gonna be, and we not gonna find no rest for the sole of our foot, no, in none of the places we gonna go. So we always kind of in straits everywhere we at. You know, we're not in a position to just sit back and relax and so-called enjoy life. You know, even, you know, you have a lot of our people who do so-called sit back and enjoy life, but they all in delusions. You know, they over here faking the funk, but they really not enjoying life. They trying to be like the so-called white man, you know? I'm like, yo, what you don't realize is you want to get the same kind of car the so-called white man get. So you gonna go and sacrifice all your income to get the same kind of car he got. He not sacrificing his income to get that. He ain't even paying for that. He got somebody else paying for that through one of his little businesses or the way he got things set up. Because this is his kingdom and this is your hell. All right. But see, we'll sit there and on an outwardly appearance, like, I don't know why you tripping. I got me a big, nice house and a big, nice car, whatever, whatnot, whoop-de-whoop, so on and so forth. And then when you really go down into the fine workings in between all these different things, like, yeah, see, you done went way far beyond your limits to wind up getting these here things. The so-called white men didn't try for all this here stuff. You see what I'm saying? You had to sit here and go do all of this here work. He didn't have to do none of this shit like you had to do it. He got his stuff handed down to him, just giving it to him. All right. All these Fortune 500 companies and so on and so forth. How you think these people is getting it? They hand me downs and pass downs. All right. Proper land and property. But they make sure that our people don't get none of no shit like that. And if we do, they find a way to take it away from us. All right. But it says they send their little ones. They send forth their little ones like a flock. Their children dance. They take the timbrel and harp and rejoice at the sound of the organ. They spend their days in wealth and in a moment go down to the grave. So, hey, from birth growing on up, you know, they spend their days in wealth. Hey, just look at these little so-called privileged ass white kids and stuff like that, you know. Mommy, I want this, and mommy, I want that, and they get mad, be breaking their damn computers, iPhones, and all kind of shit like that. Go look up online, privileged kids, I forgot what it was called, privileged kids something. But you see all these damn kids, man. I seen these one of these Edomite little boys. They was playing the Xbox, and I don't know, some shit happened, and one kid got mad because he lost or some shit. Took the Xbox, he ripped the shit off the TV and everything. Took the shit outside, and his little brother's like, Tommy, no, this is the third Xbox. Mama's gonna be pissed. She's gonna be pissed, man. Don't do it, man. He goes out there, he throws it on the ground, slam it on the ground, take the gun out and shoot the shit. Fuck that Xbox, bro. Fucking is cheating, bro. I'm like, damn, let Jake do some shit like that. Let Jake raise up his voice in the room while playing a damn video game. Their parents come there, look, so you don't know how to take care of that shit, play with that shit, I'm taking it away from your ass. You know what I'm saying? From us just raising our voice over it. You see what I'm saying? There's differences in these people, all right? Let me just continue on. It says, verse 13, they spend their days in wealth and in a moment go down to the grave. Therefore they say unto the Most High, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him? For lo, their good is not in their hand. The counsel of the wicked is far from me. So these so-called white people, all right, they all living rich and lavish and so on and so forth. And they seen all these so-called blessings and all the different things that they got, so on and so forth. And they not really worshiping the Most High. They not really with the so-called church shit. They doing that to just kind of like cover up the day to damn devil. All right. And inside of these same damn churches, like the Catholic churches and all these different things, there's a bunch of pedophilia and so on and so forth going in. But nevertheless, it's like this is what they said in their heart. It says, verse 14 or 13, they spend their days in wealth, and in a moment they go down to the grave. Therefore they say unto the Most High, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. So they're like, fuck God, what we need him for? We already rich. What can you bless us with what we ain't even already got? Not realizing the Most High the earth was given into the hand of the wicked for this here short time. All right. Verse 15, and what is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him? Going back to what, your Big Bang Theory and evolution and so on and so forth. And just all the way up into your AI technology into today. Like, man, look how far we done got on our own. Why do we need God? We wasn't bowing down and praying to God to get none of this. We got it on our own strength, on our own so and so and so forth, you know? So they ask and they say, why should we pray unto God? Why do we have a need to pray unto God? All right, we got all these riches. But in reverse, look at our people. Even when in our lowest estate, we still bow down and pray to the Most High. You see what I'm saying? Showing you the differences between these two people, all right? This is Psalm 74. Slakia. This is Psalm 74:4 says, thy enemies roar in the midst of thy congregation. They set up their ensigns for signs. So the enemy, the so-called white man, roar in the midst of thy congregation. They set up ensigns for signs. So they setting up certain things for signs. There's signs all over the place, all right? A man was famous according as he had lifted up axes upon the thick trees. So what? So-called white man wound up as a top in history. You know, he didn't rewrote history, but how does he rewrite history? By destroying everybody else's history and hijacking it, saying he's the one who, you know, not the one who hijacked it, but he's, oh, we created this, we created that. Greece is the father of all civilizations and so on and so forth, because you didn't win and stole everybody else's work, more or less to say. All right. It says a man was famous according as he had lifted up the axes upon the thick trees. So he cut everybody else down just to shine. All right. Just like Esau's his shit with national security, you know, America. Well, us, the Edomites, so-called white man saying this, the Edomites will be safe if we just if we kill everybody else. Who gonna come up against us? You see what I'm saying? We gonna wind up being on top if we exterminate everybody else. All right. Verse 6. But now they break down the carved work thereof at once with axes and hammers. They have cast fires into thy sanctuaries and are defiled by casting down the dwelling places of the name of the ground. They have said in their hearts, let us destroy them together. They have burned up all the synagogues of the Most High in the land. All right. So what? They go through and they burn down all the damn churches and all the temples and stuff that we had. When we had these things in so-called righteousness, not talking about into modern days, today's times, because why? So-called white man is actually the one building up all these damn churches, because he's, how do I say, brainwashing us with all these different institutions. All right. It says, they had said in their hearts, let us destroy them together. They have burned up all the synagogues of the Most High in the land. We see not our signs. There is no more any prophet, neither is there among us any that knoweth how long. So before we woke up into this here state, where the truth started coming back out, this is the state that we was in. We was all devoured and swallowed up. Like in Psalms 83, it says, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, and it names Edom in there. All right. The name of Israel should be no more in remembrance. They took our nationality, our heritage, our history and everything away from us. All right. But see, they took all this here away from us, but now the Most High is bringing it all back unto us. But going back to the characteristics of Esau Edom, who did this unto us, the so-called white man did this. All right. It says, O Yahawah, how long shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever? All right. Let me just go ahead and grab my next precept. But see, that's the time and the state that we in now. That's the same thing going on even unto this here day. All right. This is Joel chapter 1, verse 6. It says, For a nation is come up upon my land, strong and without number, whose teeth are the teeth of lion, and he hath the cheek teeth of a great lion. He hath laid my vine waste, and barked my fig tree. He hath made it clean and bare, and cast it away. Salakia. Give me 1 second. It says, verse 7, he hath laid my vine waste and barked my fig tree. He hath made it bare, clean. He cast it away. The branches thereof are made white. Lament like a virgin, gird with sackcloth for your husband of her youth. The meat offering and drink offering is cut off from the house of Yahweh, and the priest of Yahweh's ministers mourn. The field is wasted, the land mourneth, the corn, for the corn is wasted, and the new wine is dried up, the oil languish. Be ashamed, O ye husbandmen, how, O ye vineyard dressers, for the wheat and for the barley, because the harvest of the field is perished. The vine is dried up, the fig tree is languished, the pomegranate tree, the palm tree also, the apple tree, even all the trees of the field are withered, because of the joy is withered away from the sons of men. Gird yourselves and lament, ye priests, how ye ministers of the altar. Come, lie all night in sackcloth, ye ministers of my power, for the meat offering and the drink offering is withholden from the house of your power. Sanctify ye a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the elders and all the inhabitants of the land in the house of Yahweh your power, and cry unto the Most High. All right. Let me just keep reading on down. Alas for the day of the Lord is at hand, and the destruction of the Almighty is come. Is not the meat cut off before our eyes? Yea, and gladness for the house of Yahweh. The seed is rotten under their clods. The garners are laid desolate. The barns are broken down. The corn is withered. How do the beasts groan? The herds of cattle are perplexed, because they have no pastures. Yea, the flocks of sheep are made desolate. O Yahweh, to thee will I cry, for the fire have devoured the pastures of the wilderness. The flame have burned all the trees of the field. The beasts of the field also cry unto thee. The rivers of water are dried up, and the fire have devoured the pastures of the wilderness. All right. So not only did real quick, let me read this as well. Psalms 83 and 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and have consulted against thy hidden ones. They said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes. So I'm going to just stop there. But nevertheless, going back to what we were just reading in Joel, not only did they devour us by taking away our heritage and things like we were reading here in Psalms 83, but they actually devoured the whole damn earth with what? The GMOs and all these different things. Let me go back to that real fast. Where it says, verse 17, Joel 1:17, the seed is rotten under their clods, and the garners are laid desolate. The barns are broken down, for the corn is withered. How do the beasts groan? The herds of the cattle are perplexed, because they have no pasture. Yea, the flocks of sheep are made desolate. All right. It says, let me go up one couple. Verse 12, the vine is dried up, the fig tree languished, the pomegranate tree, the palm tree, and also the apple tree, even all the trees of the field are withered, because of the joy is withered away from the sons of men. Right, because why? The so-called white man, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. So-called white man is in rulership, and he's destroying every damn thing. Everything he touched, he turned to death and destruction, all right? Same with not just the Israelites and the people thereof, but also the actual food on the planet Earth, all right? And the earth itself. Got a couple more I'm going to close out. This is Ezekiel 35 and 10. It says, because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas Yahweh was there. All right. What two nations and what two countries did the white man so-called come over and take over and stuff like that? All right. The land of Israel. All right. And then also over here in the Americas. All right. Because who was living over here in the Americas before the so-called white man came over here? All right. It would have been the northern kingdom, the children of Israel. So what? You came and you didn't hijack both of our land masses. And reigning over us in these same land masses, and you possessing us and the land masses as if the Most High was there and ruling over us in these land masses, like you are God supposedly. All right. This is Ezekiel 36 and 1. Ezekiel 36 and 2. It says, thus saith Yahweh power, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are in our possessions. All right. So like I said, let me read verse 5 again.
or verse 5 as well. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and all Idumea. Like I said, Idumea is a Greek way of saying like Edom, the so-called white man. And against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of their heart, with all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast out for a prey. So not only did they take over the ancient high places and things like that, it was the so-called white man who wanted doing this. So-called white man, they tore down all these different places. They wanted to reign over there. All right. But the Most High said, look, I'm going to wind up paying you back for all of that. All right. So again, the so-called white man, he's talking about some Edom. Edom will be inside of, let me see, it says, therefore Ezekiel 36:5, therefore thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and all Idumea. So Idumea again is Esau Edom, which appointed my land into their possessions with the joy of their heart. All right. So now if Edom, we saying the so-called white man is Edom, you saying it's the Arabs. It's like, yo, man, you talking about they appointed that land into their hand. First of all, those Palestinians, which are Syrians, they've been living over there for the longest amount of time, and it's never really been a huge population of them up to modern day times nowadays. All right, before the so-called Israelis was got over into that land before 1948, for the longest amount of time, it was like a population of around 500,000 Palestinians that lived over there, which they were Syrians that basically lived over there. All right, but nevertheless, it's not the damn Arabs. All right, the Arabs they're not playing no big role in nothing. If anything, they just getting bombed to hell and back from the so-called white man. All right, and plus, if you want to say that they the Edomites and you Jacob, the Lord will be back casting out all this here judgment. He was going to give them the green light. So where's the Lord at? If you're supposed to be the Israelites or Jacob, and you're supposed to be casting out the judgment on Esau, who you saying is the Arabs, then where's the Lord at? Where's the chariots at? Where's the angels at? Where's the kingdom of heaven at? You see what I'm saying? None of these things add up. You see what I'm saying? Why y'all at war on all places? Why y'all crying out and asking for defense and asking for allies with these other nations, asking these other nations to help y'all? How come the Lord ain't helping you out? Shouldn't you should be able to just go up by yourself and just take everybody else into captivity with the Lord on your side? Again, because it's not the people that y'all saying it is not the Arabs. The Arabs are not the Edomites and that y'all are claiming that they are. All right. Let me just continue on and close out with this. This is Zechariah chapter. This is Zechariah chapter 9 verse 6. It says, a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. All right, so it said a bastard should dwell in Ashdod. Where's Ashdod? Ashdod's basically modern days today is Tel Aviv. All right, so when they're talking about a bastard should dwell in Ashdod, so who is the bastard? That would be Esau Edom. All right, the so-called white man that's living over there even up until today. All right. Psalms 49:11. It says, their inward parts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. So when you go around and you see the so-called white man, obviously here in America, like they call you, just talk about so-called black people for a minute. One of the names you give us is what? African Americans, all right? Which is two land masses, right? America and Africa, right? America is a continent. Well, basically is, you got North America, South America, and Central America, right? And you also have Africa, which is a continent, right? Both of these places are named after so-called white people. Leo Scipio Africanus and Amerigo Vespucci, all right? This is where you get these two names from, all right? So both of these lands was called after their damn names, all right? They call all their lands after their names. You know, they'll set up a landmass and they just name it after their damn self. All right. But then another thing says their inward part is that their houses shall continue forever. All right. And their dwelling places from generations to generations. So this is why they always be, you know, they'll get some land or whatever, whatnot, and pass it down and pass it down and pass it down and keep going on and on. Like they say here in America, oh, this was my forefathers' land. My fathers came and they fought and they died for this land. They passed it down to me and I'm going to pass it down to my sons. You see what I'm saying? So this is what they do. They come over here to this here land, America, that was not called America to begin with, slaughter these people over here took over this here land, named it after their own self, and they keep passing it on down, so on and so forth, so on and so forth, you know. Now they to the point that the people that they took the land from, you got their children telling the people they took the land from's children to go back to where you came from, not knowing that this is where they came from, and that their forefathers annihilated them to take this here land, all right? Got a couple more. I'm going to close out. This is Psalms 55 and 20. It says, he put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenants. All right, just like the so-called white man do. He put his hands on people that be at peace with him. You see what I'm saying? Like, yo, why you going over there? First of all, look at what they doing with the military right now. Every country that America is bombing in right now, tell me what that country did to America where they had to go over there and start bombing them. Don't worry, I'll wait. You see what I'm saying? Hey, America just going around bombing everybody for no reason. You see what I'm saying? Why does the so-called white man come down? And the white man are kicking in your damn door for the wrong house. You know what I'm saying? Kicking the wrong door, whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And put hands on people where you tell them, yo, this the wrong house. Yo, that's not me, whatever, whatnot. And they still take your ass in jail, beat your ass, you know what I'm saying, bloody your nose and everything else like that. And then find out that he did kick in the wrong door. He'll still charge your ass with getting blood on his uniform. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of shit that they got going on. So it says he put forth his hands against such as be with peace with him. Like the Native Americans. When he came over here, the Native Americans taught him how to farm, how to live, and how to make it through the winters here. But what? You wound up exterminating them and giving them smallpox, all right? This is what you did, all right? He had broken his covenants. Every covenant he made with the so-called Native American Indians, he broke every last one of them, all right? Even to this day, he write laws and have to rewrite laws and keep rewriting laws to fit his agenda, all right? The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. War was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. Now, this is one of the differences between so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and the so-called white man, all right? People get on to us because we come flat out and tell you exactly what it is. Like, yo, man, you a bitch-ass nigga, man, because you did X, Y, and Z, right? The so-called white man not going to talk to you like that. He's like, well, you know, we was doing so on and so forth, and we think that it might be best if we did something this way and that way. And, you know, he not going to, like, the housing market, right? When the housing market crash happened, do you think that he was giving out those subprime mortgages loans to Jake, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans in the office? Like, yeah, come on in here, you stupid niggas. About to sign this bitch over to y'all ass and get y'all niggas in the debt by next year. Y'all gonna be broke as a bitch. You ain't gonna have shit after this go down. No, he didn't tell you no shit like that. He said, look, for you first-time homeowners, we know you blacks have been having a hard time here in America and really didn't have nothing going on here. We want to help you out. We want to make sure that you start thriving. We want to give you a piece of that American dream. Our people took the bait, and look what happened. You see what I'm saying? They do the same thing all the way around. Hey, that's just what's inside of him to do, all right? This is Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. All right. Oh shit, let me just keep reading. It says, woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink, which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. So that's just to the T, the so-called white man being a damn devil, man, calling good evil and evil good. You know, we telling you, look, man, you should not allow, all right, it's wicked as fuck to allow a group called Mambala, right? Man Boy Love Association. We got grown-ass pedophile men who want to have sex with young underage little boys. You see what I'm saying? First of all, the homosexual shit is that shit's wicked as all outdoors. Nevertheless, you're trying to do this with a child, right? But you'll call us wicked for saying, oh, y'all speaking hate speech because we calling y'all out about some shit like that. But at the same time, bruh, like, your actions is actually hurting these people, because you understand it. A lot of these homosexuals, they tell you, well, I'm like this because I was molested as a child. Or these people who was molested as children, they grow up, commit suicide, or have bad lives. But yet you allowing a group to go through and flourish like this, all right? And we can't say nothing about it. And if we do, you call us the problem, all right? It says, Isaiah 5 and 23, which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness from the righteousness of Salakia, which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. All right. I got one more. Let me close out after this one. This is Job chapter 21, verse 28. For you say, where is the house of the prince, and where is the dwelling place of the wicked? So you might ask, where is the righteous? Who is the righteous and who is the wicked? All right. Verse 29. Have you not asked them that go by the way, or do you not know their tokens? All right. So a lot of people say the so-called white man ain't the devil, he ain't wicked, and so on and so forth. Y'all just racist, whatever, whatnot. So here goes the question. For you say, where is the house of the prince, and where is the dwelling place of the wicked? Who's right and who's wrong? It says, can't nobody figure this here out. The scripture got a way of dealing with it. Verse 29. Have you not asked them that go by the way? And do you not know their tokens? All right. So look, just ask around and see who the fuck the wicked is. Look, this ain't just between white and black. Let's go ask the Chinese people how they feel and what's wrong with them. Who's your biggest problem on the planet Earth? What race of people is dominating on you and putting you in subjection? Let's go ask the Africans about the same question. Let's go ask the Arabs about the same question. Let's go ask the Chinese, the Japanese about the same question. They're going to all tell you it's the so-called white man. All right. So it's not just we just hating or whatever, whatnot. That's just what it is, what it is. All right. Verse 30. The wicked is reserved for the day of let me go back. Have you not asked them that go by the way, or do you not know their tokens, that the wicked is reserved for the day of destruction? They shall be brought forth in the day of wrath. Who shall declare his ways to his face? Who shall repay him what he have done? Just like when you go into Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 verse 1, you know, and then they shall stand in great boldness in the face of who afflicted them. And that's what we doing right here, right now, today. All right. Yet shall he be brought to the grave, he shall remain in the tomb. The clouds of the valley shall be sweeter to him, but every man shall draw after him, as there are innumerable before him. How then comfort ye me in vain, seeing that your answers there remaineth falsehoods? So what? Again, you want to know who the wicked is, ask around to see who it is, all right? But yet and still looking at these wicked people, yo, you causing all this wickedness upon the whole face of the earth on all these people. What you think is going to happen to you in the end, man? Karma's a bitch, man. You got to come back and pay for this here judgment, all right? I'm going to go ahead and close out with this. I'm going to probably come back with another part or another portion to this, just going into this, because there's a lot of talking about the characteristics of Esau Edom, the so-called white man in these here scriptures, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and close out with this, and I'll see you on the next one, all right? With that, I say, call halal Yahawah, Bahashim, YAHAWASHI, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong and shalom.